The next day, Prefect Wei again came to ask the master for teaching. The master ascended the Dharma seat and said to the assembly, "Let everyone first purify your own mind, and together recite Prajna Paramita." Then he said, "Good friends, the wisdom of Bodhi is something every being in the world originally possesses. It is only because the mind is deluded in a single thought that beings cannot awaken by themselves and must rely on the guidance of a great teacher to see their own nature. You should know that whether a person is foolish or wise, the Buddha nature is originally without difference. It is only because there is delusion and there is awakening that there is the difference between the foolish and the wise. Now I will teach you the great Dharma of Mahaprajna Paramita, so that each of you may bring forth your own wisdom. Listen with all your heart and I will teach you." Good friends, all day long people recite prajna with their mouths, yet do not recognize the prajna within their own self-nature. It is like a hungry person speaking of food. To speak of it can never make you full. If all day you only speak of emptiness with your mouth and do not practice it, then even through 10,000 kalpas you will never see your self-nature, and in the end gain no benefit. Good friends, Mahaprajna Paramita is a Sanskrit term. Translated into Chinese, it means to reach the other shore by great wisdom. This must be practiced within the mind. It is not merely chanted with the mouth. To speak it with the mouth but not practice it in the mind is like an illusion, a phantom, dew, or lightning, and in the end it passes away empty. To recite it with the mouth and also practice it in the mind, then mind and mouth accord with each other. Then the pure Bodhi self-nature is the true Buddha that every person already possesses. Apart from self-nature, there is no other Buddha. What is meant by Maha? Maha means great. This is to say that the capacity of the Bodhi mind is vast, like empty space, without boundary, without square or round, large or small, without blue, yellow, red, or white, without above or below, long or short, without anger or joy, right or wrong, good or evil, without head or tail. All Buddha lands are like empty space. The wondrous true suchness of people is originally empty. There is not a single thing that can be grasped. The self-nature of all dharmas is originally empty and still. It is the same. Good friends, do not hear me speak of emptiness and then cling to emptiness. Above all, do not cling to emptiness. If you sit in stillness with a mind empty of all things, this is to cling to the blank emptiness of indifference. Good friends, the empty space of the world can hold and contain the forms of all things: the sun, moon, stars and constellations, mountains, rivers and the great earth, springs, streams and brooks, grasses, trees and forests, evil people and good people, evil things and good things, heaven and hell, all the great oceans, and all the Sumeru mountains. All are held within empty space. The true emptiness of people's wondrous nature, containing all dharmas, is the same. Good friends, that self-nature can contain all dharmas is what is meant by great. All dharmas are within the self-nature of every person. If you see all people, whether good or evil, and can neither grasp nor reject them, and are not stained by them, and your mind is bright and open like empty space, this is called great. So in Sanskrit it is called Maha. Good friends, the deluded who have not awakened only speak with their mouths. The awakened and wise practice with their minds. There is also a kind of deluded person who, not yet awakened, sits in stillness with a dead mind, thinking of nothing, and calls this great. With such a person, it is not worth speaking of the Dharma of Mahaprajna, for they have already fallen into the error of wrong views. Good friends, the capacity of self-nature is vast, pervading the whole Dharma realm. When used, it is clear and distinct. In its application, it knows all things. All dharmas are one dharma. One dharma is all dharmas. Coming and going freely, the substance of the mind without obstruction, this is prajna. Good friends, all prajna. Wisdom is born from self-nature. It does not come from outside. Do not mistake the use of your mind. This is called the true nature using itself. When one Dharma is true, all Dharmas are true. The mind should be used for the great matter of opening the true suchness of self-nature, of turning delusion into awakening. Do not work at small ways such as sitting in stillness with an empty mind, and do not spend all day speaking of emptiness with your mouth while your mind does not practice true emptiness. This is like a commoner who calls himself a king. In the end, he is not. Such a person is not my disciple. Good friends, what is prajna? In Sanskrit, it is prajna. In Chinese, it is translated as wisdom. In all places and at all times in daily life, if in thought after thought you are without ignorance and folly, and always act with wisdom, this is the practice of prajna. With a single foolish deluded thought, prajna is wholly lost. With a single thought free of delusion, prajna is born. Worldly people, foolish and deluded, do not awaken and cannot see the prajna of true reality. Though they speak of prajna with their mouths, in their minds they are confused by folly. Though they often say, I am practicing prajna, and in thought after thought speak of emptiness, they do not recognize the principle of true emptiness. Prajna has no form that can be described. The wisdom mind is this prajna of true reality, formless yet not falling into nothingness. To understand it in this way is called prajna wisdom. What is paramita? This too is Sanskrit. In Chinese, it is translated as reaching the other shore. By its meaning, it is to cut off birth and death. If the mind clings to outer states, then birth and death arise, like waves rising and falling on the water. This is called the shore. If the mind does not cling to outer states, it is like flowing water always moving freely, and birth and death have no way to arise. This is called the other shore, so it is called paramita. Good friends, the deluded, who have not awakened, know only to recite with the mouth, but while reciting, there is delusion and error in the mind. If in thought after thought the mind practices, this is the true and unfailing nature of true suchness. To awaken to this dharma is the prajna dharma. To cultivate this practice is the prajna practice. Not to practice in this way is to be an ordinary person. To awaken and cultivate in a single thought is to be, in your very body, equal to the Buddha, without difference. Good friends, the ordinary person is the Buddha. Affliction is Bodhi. The previous thought deluded is the ordinary person. The next thought awakened is the Buddha. The previous thought clinging to states is affliction. The next thought free of clinging to states is Bodhi. Good friends, Mahaprana Paramita is the most honored, the highest, the foremost Dharma. It does not abide, does not go, and does not come. The Buddhas of the 3 times past, present, and future are all born from the Prajna Dharma. You should use great wisdom to break through the afflictions and dust toil of the 5 aggregates. Practicing in this way, you will surely accomplish the Buddha path, transforming the 3 poisons of greed, anger, and delusion into the 3 untainted trainings of discipline, concentration, and wisdom. Good friends, from the prajna of the one true reality, this Dharma gate of mind can give rise to 84,000 kinds of wisdom. Why? Because worldly people have 84,000 kinds of affliction and dust toil. If there is no dust toil to cover it, prajna wisdom is always present, and in thought after thought, it is not apart from the Bodhi self-nature. One who awakens to this Dharma gate naturally has no deluded thoughts, no deliberation or clinging, gives rise to no falsehood or confusion, and applies the true suchness of self-nature according to conditions. Using prajna wisdom to illuminate all things, neither grasping nor rejecting any dharma. This is to see one's nature and become a Buddha. Good friends, one who wishes to enter the profound true Dharma realm and the right concentration of prajna must cultivate the prajna practice, reciting the Diamond Prajna Paramita Sutra. Then one can see self-nature. You should know that this Diamond Sutra has measureless, boundless merit. Within the sutra text, it is clearly praised and cannot be told in full. This Dharma gate is the highest teaching, spoken only for those of great wisdom and superior capacity. When people of small capacity and small wisdom hear this Dharma, doubt arises in their minds and they do not believe. Why? It is like a heavenly dragon sending down a great rain upon Jambudvipa. Cities and villages are all swept along in the flood, drifting like jujube leaves. But if the rain falls into the great ocean, the sea neither increases nor decreases. When people of the great vehicle, of the highest vehicle, hear someone expound the Diamond Prajna Paramita Sutra, they understand and comprehend, knowing that within their own nature there is prajna wisdom. This is attained by constantly using wisdom to illuminate, not formed by borrowing words and letters. Just as the rain does not come from the sky, it is the dragon that raises clouds and brings rain, so that all beings, all grasses and trees, sentient and insentient, all receive its moisture. The 100 streams and many rivers flow into the great ocean and merge with it into one body. The prajna wisdom in the nature of beings is the same. Good friends, when people of small capacity hear this sudden teaching, they are like grasses and trees of shallow root. When drenched by a great rain, they all topple over and cannot keep growing. So it is when people of small capacity hear the great Dharma. Their original prajna wisdom is no different from that of people of great wisdom. Why is it that, hearing this sudden teaching, they cannot awaken? Because they cling to wrong views, their obstruction of knowledge is heavy, and the habits of affliction are deeply rooted. It is like dense clouds covering the sunlight. Without wind to scatter the clouds, the sunlight cannot break through. Prajna wisdom is fully present in everyone, without distinction of great or small. It is only because the minds of beings differ in delusion and awakening. The mind that is deluded seeks the Dharma outward, looking for the Buddha apart from the mind, and cannot awaken to see self-nature. This is a person of small capacity. If you awaken to the sudden teaching and do not cling to outward practice, but always give rise to right view within your own mind, then naturally all affliction and dust toil cannot stain you. This is to see self-nature. Good friends, clinging to neither inner nor outer states, coming and going freely, able to remove the grasping mind, you can penetrate to know self without obstruction. To practice in this way is no different from what the Prajna Sutras teach. Good friends, all scriptures, all words and letters, the teachings of the great and small vehicles, the 12 divisions of the canon, all are set up for the sake of people, established because of the nature of wisdom. If there were no people in the world, then naturally there would be no dharmas at all. From this we know that all dharmas arise because of people, and all scriptures exist because people expound them. Among people there are the foolish and the wise. The foolish are called small people. The wise are called great people. The foolish ask the wise. The wise teach the Dharma to the foolish. If a foolish person suddenly understands and comprehends, and the ground of the mind opens, then he is no different from the wise. Good friends, with a single unawakened thought, even a Buddha is an ordinary being. In a single thought of awakening, an ordinary being is a Buddha. So we know that all the dharmas of the universe are within our own mind. Then why not, directly from your own mind, see at once the true nature of suchness? The Bodhisattva precepts, Sutra says, our self-nature is originally pure and undefiled. If we can recognize our own mind and see our self-nature, we can all accomplish the Buddha path. The Vimalakirti Sutra says, At that moment, there is sudden clarity, and one regains one's own original mind. Good friends, at Master Hongren's place, the moment I heard him expound the Dharma, I awakened at his words and at once saw the true nature of suchness. So I spread this sudden teaching far and wide, so that those who study the way may suddenly awaken to Bodhi, each beholding their own mind and seeing their own nature. If you cannot awaken by yourself, you must seek out a great teacher, one who understands the highest Dharma, to point out the right road directly. This good teacher has a great causal role, namely to teach and guide, so that beings may see their self-nature. For all good dharmas can be set in motion through a good teacher. Within our self-nature, the Buddhas of the 3 times and the 12 divisions of the canon are already complete. If in folly and delusion you cannot awaken by yourself, you must ask a good teacher for guidance in order to see. But one who can awaken and see his nature by himself need not seek outside the mind. To insist rigidly that one must rely on a good teacher in order to gain liberation is mistaken. Why? Within the mind of beings, there is prajna wisdom by which one can awaken oneself. If you give rise to wrong views deluded about your own original mind with upside-down thoughts, then even though an outer good teacher gives you instruction, you cannot be saved. But if you can give rise to true prajna illumination, in a single instant, deluded thoughts are wholly extinguished. If you can recognize your self-nature, this single awakening can carry you straight to the ground of Buddhahood. Good friends, when you use wisdom to illuminate, inside and out become bright and clear, and you recognize your own original true mind. If you recognize your own original true mind, this is to gain the original, unobstructed, sovereign liberation. If you gain sovereign liberation, this is to enter the right concentration of prajna. The right concentration of prajna is the non-arising of a single thought. That is, toward all the dharmas you know and see, the mind is not stained. This non-arising of a single thought, when applied, pervades all places, yet does not cling to any place. Only purify the original mind so that the 6 consciousnesses go out through the 6 sense gates, and amid the 6 dusts give rise to not the slightest defiled or deluded thought. Coming and going freely, moving with ease, applied in 10,000 ways without hindrance or obstruction. This is the prajna samadhi. This is sovereign liberation, and this is called the practice of no thought. But if you cling to thinking of nothing at all, cutting off the flow of thought, this is bondage to dharmas, and is also called extreme view. Good friends, one who awakens to the dharma of no thought penetrates all dharmas without obstruction. One who awakens to the dharma of no thought directly beholds the realm of all the Buddhas. One who awakens to the dharma of no thought reaches the fruit ground of Buddhahood. Good friends, those of later generations who attain this dharma gate of mind should, together with those of like view and like practice, make the vow to receive and uphold this sudden teaching, serving it as they would serve the Buddha, advancing all their lives without retreating. Such people will surely reach the ground of the sages. But to transmit this Dharma gate, one must pass on the silent mind seal entrusted by the patriarchs of every generation. One must not conceal the true Dharma of the school. If a person is not of the same view and the same practice, and cultivates in some other school's Dharma gate, do not recklessly transmit it to him, lest it harm the lineage of his own school, and in the end bring no benefit. Above all, beware that some foolish people, unable to understand, may slander this Dharma gate, and so cut off the Buddha nature seed for 100 kalpas in 1,000 lifetimes. Good friends, I have a formless verse. Each of you must recite and remember it. Whether at home or having left home, Only practice according to this formless verse. If you cannot practice it yourself, but only memorize my words, that too is of no benefit. Listen to my verse. To master the teaching and to master your own mind is like the great sun set in empty space. I transmit only the Dharma of seeing one's nature, appearing in the world to save beings and break false schools. The Dharma is originally neither sudden nor gradual. In delusion and awakening, there is fast and slow. But this Dharma gate of seeing one's nature, the foolish and the dull cannot know. Though it be told in 10,000 different ways brought together, the truth returns to one. Within the dark dwelling of affliction, the sun of wisdom must always shine. When wrong thoughts come, affliction arrives. When right thoughts come, affliction is removed. Use neither the wrong nor the right, and in utter purity nothing remains. Bodhi is the awakening of one's own nature. To give rise to a thought is already delusion. The pure mind dwells within the deluded mind. Only set your thoughts right, and the three obstacles are gone. If a worldly person resolves to practice the Buddha path, no Dharma gate stands in the way. Always see your own faults and diligently reflect, and you will be in accord with the way. Every kind of being has its own way. Each cultivates without hindering the other. To leave your own way and seek the way elsewhere is to search your whole life and never see it. Hurrying through the dust, you pass a whole life, and in the end only regret remains. If you wish to see the true way, right conduct itself is the way. If you yourself have no mind for the way, you walk in darkness and never see it. If you are one who truly practices the way, you do not see the faults of the world. If you only see others' faults, your own fault is the very error. When others have faults and I have none, my blaming others is itself a fault. Only stop the mind that blames others, and you break through the obstacle of affliction. When hatred and love do not trouble the mind, you stretch out both legs and lie at ease. If you wish to teach and transform others, you yourself must have skillful means. Do not let others give rise to doubt, and this is the manifesting of self-nature. The Buddha's Dharma is here in the world. Awakening is not apart from the world. To seek Bodhi apart from the world is like searching for the horns of a rabbit. Right view is called the wisdom that transcends the world. Wrong view is called the delusion of the world. When both wrong and right are swept clean, the Bodhi self-nature appears clearly. This verse is the sudden teaching, also called the great ship of Dharma. The deluded hear the Dharma through many kalpas. Sudden awakening is in a single instant. The Master said again, "Today, this sudden teaching Dharma gate I have spoken at Defan Temple. May all beings in the world, having heard it, at once see their nature and become Buddhas." At that time, Prefect Wei, the officials and the monastic and lay disciples, having heard the Dharma the Master spoke, all came to some awakening. Together they bowed to the Master and praised him, saying, "How wonderful! Who would have thought that in Lingnan a Buddha has appeared in the world?"